Hi everyone, this is Ellie Mae with Swift Creek Customs, and today I'm going to bring you some quick videos on using the Leonardo Design Studio software. Leonardo Design Studio software is created by Siser in order to work with the Siser Juliet and eventually the Siser Romeo cutting machines. When it was first released, it is a basic cutting program. It can cut designs and it can do print and cut. But it is not a full-blown graphic design software when it is first released. So I want to make sure that you're aware of that. They are listening and they are working on things and updating things with user feedback. They are really trying to make this a software that works for you. It does take time and testing in order to get those updates and be able to release those without bugs or with as few bugs as possible. Siser is listening. They are in my Creating with Siser Facebook group where users are providing feedback that they are seeing both in the group, and I am taking that back as I am a member of the Siser beta testing group. So your feedback is being listened to, and they are trying to develop this software for users that will work for users. So I'm going to do some quick, short videos, but make sure to check the description below for any updates to the software. If my screen looks different than your screen, you may have an updated software version. It really just depends on when you're viewing this video. So let's jump in to the Leonardo Design Studio and I'll show you a couple things. Check out the rest of the playlist that is on the Swift Creek Customs YouTube channel. There will be a playlist for both Siser Juliet videos and also the Leonardo Design Studio videos. So make sure to check those out. Links are in the description below. Let's get started. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can open designs in several different ways. So the first way we're going to cover is we are going to cover opening a file from the Leonardo Design Studio library. So I am currently on the Design tab. If I come back over here to the home page, these top tabs on the left, all of those tabs are all internet-based. So they pull the information from the Siser website and they are updated on a regular basis. This way that they can do those updates, and it is information, inspiration-based, tutorials, the design library, materials library, all of that information is stored on the Siser servers and it is pulled from their website. This way they don't have to update the software in order to update that information. So on the left side, we do have the design library. At the bottom here is your design tab. So if I click that, this is where it opens up into where you're going to be designing. The design tab is not internet-based. It is offline, and you can use your Siser Juliet or Romeo when it comes out cutting machine completely offline if you have designs from outside of the software. So we're going to show first how to open a design from the library. So if I come back over here to the design library, Siser has designs already in place for us, and these are really easy ones to cut. It's great for practicing, and they change those out or add new designs often. Now, the design library is connected to the internet, so you would need internet access in order to access this design library. It is not a library where you can store your personal files. It is a library where you can pull files from the Siser library itself, but it is not a cloud-based library to store your designs to. Personally, I like this. Once you add a cloud storage base into a software, it complicates things greatly, and you are dependent on that company and the website and internet and servers and all of that technological data to be able to access your designs. Personally, I like to have control of my designs and be able to access those whenever I want. So I love the fact that you can store your files to an outside location. The design library is just so you can pull designs for easy cuts or for any type of project that you'd like to do. So I'm just going to show you how to open one of those quickly. So you click on the image, it's going to bring it up. It has a little description here. Some of them are bunnies, some of them are just a play on words. Read those, check those out. You can see at the bottom, this design is freely available for all license types. That means that you could create a product with this design to sell, or it can be used for personal use. So it has a personal use license as well as a commercial use license. And if you need information on the differences between those, I will put information in the description below for you to check that out. In order to open the design, you're going to go to just click on Open Design, and it's going to place it onto your design mat. And then once the design is on your screen, you can adjust it as needed. So I'm just going to grab the corner bounding box, and I'm going to enlarge the size for this. Now, I'm going to use this design as an example of opening a Leonardo Design Studio file. So currently, in the current software, the only way you can export a file is in LDS form, which means Leonardo Design Studio form. So it is a proprietary file type to Leonardo Design Studio. In future updates, they are looking to have additional options for exporting other file types. So it is coming, but as of the recording of this video, it is not available. So I am just going to use File, Save as. And you can see that I had previously practiced this, so I'm just going to name this Fish 1. And you're going to see here it saves as the LDS file type. So if I save this, you can also see that there is currently no thumbnail to that. That is also something that they are working on in a future update. So watch for those, check the description below. Again, Leonardo Design Studio is an evolving software as it's released. So they are looking for our user feedback, and they are taking that into account. I'm going to choose Save. So if I close this file, and I'm going to show you now how you can open an LDS file, or a file you have saved within Leonardo Design Studio. So if you come up here to File, and you choose Open, then you can choose which file you want to select. So it will show your LDS file types that you have saved. So I'm just going to click on Fish, double click on Fish, or click Fish. If I click on Open, click Fish, and then click Open. Either one will open the file. And then it's going to show up on your screen. Now, one thing I do want to point out here, I just deleted that, so I'll actually just close the file. And I chose not to save the changes I made. If I come down here, the next way to open a file is called Import File. If I come to this location and choose Import File, and I'm looking for that LDS file type, you can see here it does not show up. Even if I choose, it does show as all files, it's not going to allow me to choose that file to open. Import file, the file import option is for opening file types that are other file types, such as SVGs, PNGs, JPEGs, and currently TIFF files can be opened. So if you want to open a file that was previously saved in Leonardo Design Studio, you need to choose Open. In some cases, I've seen people report that when they try to use the import file and their software or their system shows the LDS file, when they choose it, they get an error. As you saw on my screen, I didn't even get close to that option. So I wanted to bring that up just in case you do get that error. So if it is a Leonardo Design Studio file, it has the LDS at the end of the file type, and you're going to use File Open. Now, if you want to use any other file type, we're going to choose File and then Import. So if I come up to Import, and then I need to find a file, so I'm going to go out to my files where I have them saved. Don't look at my file organization, it is a total mess. I need to take the time to reorganize it. And I just choose a design from Design Bundles. You can see the file types over here. So I'm going to select an SVG file. If I choose that and choose Open, it's going to give me several options. We're not going to go into the details of every single file type in this video. It is just a basic video on how to open files. When you choose File and Import File, and you select an SVG, PNG, JPEG, or TIFF file, you are going to be presented with these windows that pop up that ask you what you want to do with this file. So for this SVG, I'll go through this little window. An SVG, typically, you want it to cut, but you do have the option here to print and cut. So an SVG file, and I will link information on file types. I am a Silhouette instructor, and so all of the information that's on my blog is geared towards the Silhouette users. However, a lot of the information that I have out there, such as file types, will work across the board for all cutting machines. So I will link in the description below a tutorial that explains the different types of file types. I will give you some more information. So an SVG file is a cut file. It can be imported as a print and cut, a cut only, or editable artwork. So you can take this and play with it. Choose each option, see what features work for you and what it does. Push buttons. Push buttons. Save your file if you want it, or delete all the changes that you've made. Just play around in the software. So for this example, I'm just going to choose cut only, and then it's going to give me those cut lines. I'm going to choose next. Black is the color that's in use. You can choose include alignment marks, draw solid fills. So if I choose that, it's going to fill it in completely. You can play with this and see what works for you and for your design. All designs are created different, so you may see different behaviors. The best way to get comfortable with it is just to start playing with it. Click on it. If your screen is a little bit different than mine, it may mean that the software's been updated since I recorded this video. There may be additional options. They are working on the software for different file types and giving different options. So if I go ahead and I click apply, it's going to add that SVG file to my design board. So I can go ahead and I could open that file here, increase the size of it to the size that I want to cut, and I just chose a file at random. I might have to make this short for my dad. It really just depends on the file type that you're working with. So if I come up here and I'm just going to close this file, I'm not going to save the changes. If I come to File, Import, and now I could choose the PNG file. PNG files and JPEG files are photo files. So typically they are not cut files. If I choose the PNG, Leonardo Design Studio gives me a new window with new options. So I can bring this in as the PNG file. Again, PNG file is not a cut file, but you can turn it into a cut file with the Leonardo Design Studio options. So each file type is going to be treated a little bit different. You are going to need to just open them and become familiar with them. Again, more information on different file types is located in the description below, and that will give you a little bit better understanding if you don't already know what all the terms mean, such as JPEG, PNG, TIFF, or SVG. So on this one, you could choose your different options. Remove background, you have your mask tolerance. This can help in, if you notice, if we look right in here on the screen, and I'll zoom in there to that B, the mask tolerance, if I change this, you can see that it changes how that PNG file is going to be traced to get a cut line. So if I take it back down, you can adjust how that file would be traced and where those cut lines are going to be. Again, your image or your design is going to make a big difference. If you have a PNG file that is low resolution or it is very pixelated on the edges of it, it's going to trace those pixels. So if I come over here, you can choose to manually select it. I'm just going to keep this about where it was, and then I'm going to choose next. Gives me a couple more options. it's going to automatically trace that PNG file. Now, this looks to be a transparent PNG, so it can get a good trace around those edges. If you have the SVG file as the option and you're wanting to cut the file, use the SVG option. That is already designed as a cut file, and it will typically be your higher quality cut file. So it really just depends on your project and what you're looking for, what you're trying to work with. And again, the more you use this, the more comfortable you're going to be with it. So I'm going to click next, and then that shows me more information. I'll click finished, and it's going to put it on there. Now the PNG is placed on there as a print and cut because I opened the graphic image file. So if I were to go to send design, it's going to give me some more options. We'll cover print and cut in more depth later. I'm just going to choose send, and you're going to see print artwork here and cutting contours here. I do have a video on print and cut and using it with Leonardo Design Studio. That link is also in the description below. So we'll cover more of that. I am not getting into in-depth videos on the print and cut because I know there are changes coming. So I want to make sure those changes are implemented before I start into any in-depth videos on that topic. So I'm going to just be covering some very quick things, hopefully quick. I showed you 3 ways to open a file. So I'm going to come back to my design tab. We'll just briefly recap this. I showed you how to open from the design library. I showed you how to choose File Open to open a Leonardo Design Studio or an LDS file type that you have saved. And I also showed you how to use File Import to open an SVG, a PNG, a JPEG, or a TIFF file. Remember to keep in mind that depending on the file type that you choose, your options on how it imports into the software will be different. Take some time, play around with it, and let us know what you think. Have a great day. Thank you.